it looks like the first of our commercials, and there was a time of day when Bedford was the only lorry to be seen, and it was the one everybody had, your coal man and everybody else, and that one's got a nice beaver tail body on the back and a winch, ideal for moving your vintage tractors or vehicles. You've got the Great Rover van, complete with tow rope under the front.
Bedford's fire appliance, based on this, I think it's a TKG, I think they call these, based on the Bedford TK. Hasn't got, I don't know what brigade it served with, but got a water ladder up on the top. Now London Transport's breakdown vehicle. This would go if one of the buses broke down. This is what would go out and try and recover or repair a broken down bus.
Yeah, another one of our Bedfords, four-wheel drive this one, and military used many of these in all sorts of campaigns all over the world.
Very, very high ground clearance, and of course four-wheel drive as well.
Anorak, the Land Rover came out in 1948, 3 years after the film was set.
Yeah, military use is probably what was known as FFR, fitted for radio. And they would have had an electric system of 24 volts. Still staying with Land Rovers, who got the electricity board. They also had them because of their off-road capability. Now we've got one of the Land Rover lightweights. These were done to make them air portable. So that was the theory. Narrower, because the aircraft that they would have transported them in, they couldn't have fitted in the full-size one. But by the time they'd done all the modifications, they changed the aircraft, and the aircraft they could have put the full-size.
There's another Bedford D13 in your programme, a CF tipper, owned by Dave Tristan.
Jason's happening now, their local hauliers. This is one of these more modern lorries. ERF is E.R. Foden, Edwin R. Foden. And Edwin Foden is part of the famous Foden family that were building steam engines at the time. And Edwin Foden said the way forward now is to have motor lorries. And they all said no, we're going to carry on with steam. So Edwin left the family, set up his own company building the ERF. Another of Jason's lorries, this one he restored, it came here to Lee, started in Hawleys a long time ago, and this is done in Brian's original colours. And on behind, of course, is one of the more modern Scanners. Jason stayed with the ERF as long as he possibly could, but of course for modern day use he's had to go with the Scania.
There's a lovely Volvo F10 there, A-Reg with a round headlights. I passed my test in a Volvo, and for the first few years I was driving, we had one just like that, being our low loader.
Another vehicle is fitted with a winch. Those two pieces of metal shovel-shaped bits sticking out the back, they dig into the ground and lock the vehicle in place while they winches the cables in. Also you can use the winch over the crane as well.
They've just passed us now, the Douglas timber tractor, later on with a steam engine.
Now the big Scamel, heavy recovery, got the reaming badge on the floor, Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers, ex-military, now being used, now in preservation, but very big, powerful machines made up at Watford. The OP Bedford, or the O model Bedford, the B was the coach version. The O model Bedford, very popular truck. They came in various wheelbase lengths. This is one of the long wheelbase ones with a drop side body.
Another lovely big Scamel. There was a man came to many of the rallies out our way towing his low loader behind one of these at a stately 28 miles an hour, and if it was a wet rally he was everybody's friend.
Jim East with his Bedford J-type. Had this one quite a number of years now, and well looked after. J-type always just think bucked the trend a bit because it had the engine out the front and then the cab and then the body. Most of the lorries had the engine under the floor because the bigger load space, the more money they could make. But this one was very, very popular as it is.
Another one of our scan.
Yep, now Unimog. Again, a vehicle also built for agricultural use. We've got two Unimogs here, one behind the other. And they were used again a lot in forestry work because they could get in and out amongst the trees. They need short wheelbase and fitted with the winch as well. Now this is something very different. Well, we know where he's come from because we can see the mud. He was obviously up at Capel last. I'm afraid that military stuff is not something I know a vast amount about, except for these. This is a scout car. And these are little vehicles that would go out. You haven't got time to turn round, so you bang it in reverse and fly out backwards.
Another smart little Bedford. Useless piece of trivia, my mother used to drive those before she left to get married.
Well, a very, very popular vehicle. There's still thousands of them still in use as horse boxes and the sort, and still around today. You've got a Ford E83W, the pickup version, the just a van version as well. These again were very, very popular. You only really had a seat for a driver because when you're driving it, your feet are down alongside the engine, under the bonnet. Comma. These were built back in the 50s by the Comma Company. This one originally served with the civil defence, hence the two orange lights up on the top. This one was rallied for a few years and then the gentleman sold it off and the lad has got it now, has restored it back as a drop side truck. The very high ground Austin K2, very, very similar, and never did quite work out who did what, but very, very similar in design if you look at it to the that light blue Bedford that we saw just now. And a very 6-cylinder 28 horsepower petrol engine under the bonnet, and this one's a shorter wheelbase. AWD is finished with his recently acquired truck. The J-type probably travels up on that.
All ready for a bus trip to the coast now.
Yes, the Rio safety bus. Nice to see this one. It's been around for a long time. Lived over on the Isle of Wight. I'm not sure whether it still does or not, but it's got on the back well over the Isle of Wight. This one's been around on the rally scene on and off for a great number of years. Rio were an American company, and this one was produced for the bus shops here.
Very nice, and a lovely Bedford van now we've got in the livery of EJ Bricky from Partridge Green. Lovely type van there.
Yes, this one's been used a lot on films. Very often has some form of name on the side of it. But it was originally restored by the late Ted Bricky. Show us all about this beastie.
It's a 1995 Unipower C-Series. It is the only one of its type that was ever built. It was built as a prototype.
This is sort of a First World War vehicle, built for the military. I don't know whether that's been put on or whether that's into Cater as well, I'm not sure. Tell us all about it.
It's a 1917 white type, was a bus.
But luckily the family has still kept the vehicle. It disappeared off the rally scene for quite some time, but they're now back bringing it out to events. Another Scammell, big heavy recovery, massive great piece of kit. Now if I remember, I believe this one was actually built for the Canadian Army to use. Used in the Dartford Tunnel for recovery work, because single front wheel, they could turn virtually in their own length, so they could take this into the tunnel. If they had a broken down vehicle, they could take this into this one, spend all its working life over in Ireland working in a quarry. And quite nice to see this one, but you don't get very many. There you are, you can see the turning circle of the little Scammell, as Brian just demonstrating it there. Now we've got the Carter family's Scammell, bit of a Gardner engine. This one you may remember in years past